Hi, I'm Sheila, and I am a trance medium. It's wonderful to be with you. One of the things I often get asked is how I trance channel, and I thought it might be interesting for you to understand a little bit more about the different types of trance channels there are, and also how I trance channel. So for me, I came into trance channeling when I started developing, and whenever I would meditate, they would just start speaking through me, and I wasn't aware of it. But there are different levels of trance channeling. So messaging is where the being or the entity or the group is outside of you, within your aura, and you're relaying the energy that you feel or the energy that you sense, and they may not be here, they may be above you, they may be behind you, but you are essentially giving the essence of what you have. That's called messaging. And that's because it is a transference from within your aura, and you are passing it along like an interpreter. Then we go to what we call conscious channeling, and this is something nearly everybody has done. And that's where you're coming out with advice, and there's a part of you that goes, wow, I didn't know that I could do that. And there's a sense of you being wiser or less biased than you would normally be. Next level, and this is more of a wave than it is a level, the next level is what we call angelic channeling. And that is where you have a feeling of euphoria or a feeling of real emotion coming through you as you allow them to speak. Now, that is often the level that people stay at because there is a fear or a concern of being taken over. Many of the old spiritualist crew used to say that you got taken out of your body. Up to 7 years ago, yes, you would be taken out, and your soul would basically be caretaken by your guides. But consciousness by its very nature is just that. When I'm training trance channels, sometimes people have actual trance medium channels they're like that. They're almost like your tonsils, but they're at the back of your head, okay? Some people don't have those. If you have trance medium channels, the idea is to expand them so they expand into your spirit channel, which is at the center of your head. If you don't have trance medium channels, then it can be simply because you allowing a being to come straight through you is not necessarily part of your contract, but that doesn't mean it isn't something you can do. So angelic channeling is often where most people get to, and it's just as relevant. What can happen is that you lose the thread of energy, and that's where you'll hear people saying at this time, and that is only because the energy runs out, and it's down to your level of stamina, and also the atmosphere, where you're channeling. It's because of lots of different things as to whether or not the energy carries on, or like any conversation, it peters out. The next level of channeling is what we call full body channeling. And this is where you are channeling as your entire being. It doesn't necessarily mean that your body is taken over, but you are channeling as your higher self. And it can mean that your body moves. It can mean that you do things with your hands, but it doesn't have to. And then the next level we have, which is what we call trance, occurs at a place called deep delta. Okay, so not deep delta. Deep delta is catatonic, and if you get to that level, you're in a coma. There's no way anyone can speak to you, and you'd be in hospital as well. Edgar Cayce would channel from delta. He would go into deep delta, but then he would come up to delta, and he was known as the sleeping prophet. So how I trance channel, first of all, for me, I always make sure I've got enough energy. It's not something I will do if I feel sick in any way. And it's not something I will do if I feel highly emotional, because it does take a lot of energy. I also find I have to drink gallons and gallons of liquid, lots and lots of liquid, because you are losing energy as you channel. The other thing for me is there's a difference between just opening up to see who's there or intending a certain energy to come. So for me, when I train trance channels, I will usually see who suits their energy, and we do that before we open them up. Whereas for me, I open up and I just see who's in my auric field. And your resonance changes. So sometimes you might resonate with the male energies, sometimes you may resonate with the galactic energies, at times you may resonate with the female energies. That does change as you develop and as you go through periods in your own life. When I trance channel, I feel them coming into my crown, and the minute that they're in my crown, I let them come in and I move to the side of my aura. With some of the entities, I will experience what I call elephant head, which isn't very PC, but it's like I feel my light body head. My light body head is absolutely massive, and it's a feeling of your head being bigger than your physical head. When I trance channel, I usually have a title that they will give me, or I will have a remit that I want them to talk about. They will say what they say and then they will go. And I know when they go because I naturally find myself opening my eyes. The other thing I will say to you when I trance channel, very often they will keep part of me here in the body. The other part of me they will actually take up to heaven, and I will receive healing whilst I'm there. And that is why I'm an advocate of trance channeling, because it is an amazing way to heal. You will also find the more that you trance channel, if you are doing it from a place of fullness, your clairvoyance and your clairaudience increases as well. And I teach people to trance channel many different types of being, but only beings that are in resonance for them. Sometimes that is an elemental being, sometimes that is a group being, sometimes that is their higher self, and sometimes it's a well-known master or angel. You can find out more about how learning to be a trance channel over at www.sheilamaria.com. Work with me. Lots of love. Goodbye for now.